Hey guys, how's it going? So this is something that has popped up just today that I saw. I had no idea. I saw this on Turkey Tom's channel, which is a really, really great channel, by the way. Absolutely love the guy's channel. Sometimes he says things I disagree with, but hey, I can't agree with everybody. He makes great content, and I highly recommend him. Obviously, he's got way more subscribers than me, but hey, I still recommend the guy. Some of y'all may like him, some of y'all may not, but that's fine, you know. By the way, I have a music channel. Please click down link description. Go to it. It's non-political. It's just straight up demoing gear. I have this beautiful, beautiful pedal I just demoed. I just got the video out there. It is The Fable by Walrus Audio. This thing's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Look at that artwork. Just absolutely incredible pedal. Please check that stuff out, guys. It is the best way to support me. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers ASAP. Link in the description below. Same with my Twitter and everything else. Anyway, let's listen to this, guys. Joe Rogan's deadbeat father, apparently, is now trying to get clout. This started in December of 2022 and has gone all the way up, I think, as recent as February or March already, like just a few weeks ago. This is wild stuff. Joe Rogan, if you all don't know, talks about how he survived his father's abuse and stuff and what it taught him. And apparently, by the time Joe was like 5 years old, he never saw his dad again or something like that. I can't remember exactly when he didn't see his father anymore, but it just cut off. And now he's coming out and blaming Joe Rogan's dad is coming out, who is also named Joe Rogan Sr., is blaming his mom for everything and saying that Joe Rogan has lied about everything. It's strange. Joe Rogan has mentioned that Joe Rogan Jr., I guess we can call him now, Jr. here, has mentioned that his dad owned a bar, and he was in the bar all the time at the age of 5 years old. And he would see his dad just brutally beat people up. He was a hardcore New Jersey cop, said that he was crazy. Obviously, Joe Rogan's memories, like he says he remembers Joe Rogan's dad grabbing his cousin by the hair, pulling him up and throwing him across the room, and he would slap his mom and stuff like that, that he witnessed it. Now, Joe Rogan Jr. is a first-hand witness. Joe Rogan Sr. now is denying it. But it's wild. Instead of simply trying to reach out to Joe Rogan himself and be like, let's talk, according to Joe Rogan, at least Joe Rogan's never said that his father's ever attempted to do that. So maybe Joe Rogan is lying, Joe Rogan Jr. Maybe, but I have my highest doubts about it. Let's watch this video.
Crazy. He was like a psychotic person.
Really?
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of my mother.
Like he would be the type to come
he
up,
smacks women, beats the shit out of kids, beats the shit out of them.
Joe, I don't know where you're getting all this stuff from. Picked my cousin's son up by the head of the hair, knocked him out, did this, beat up ladies. It's not right to be one-sided, Joe. There's two sides to a story.
Well, now hold on. Joe Rogan says he witnessed this. Joe Rogan Jr. claims he saw this happen. There's two sides of the story in the sense of there's your side and your son's side. But what he's trying to say here is, Joe, I don't know where you're getting this from. There's two sides to a story. There's your mom's side and my side, right? I don't know why he's talking to Joe like that whenever Joe Rogan himself has come out and said, I saw my dad do this.
And you never heard mine. I'm really not the bad guy.
He says, you never heard mine. I don't like that perspective in the sense of, you watch the video. He didn't even say he picked his cousin up by the hair in this video here. Like in the sense of the TikTok video. But his dad clearly saw the video where Joe says, I watched him pick my cousin up by the hair and throw them. You should have picked up on that. So that already comes across as not genuine. You're acting like Joe said, my mom told me this, when Joe said, no, I watched him do it and it was the craziest thing and it freaked me out. So it's strange, right?
I gave you 25 plus years. Give me 25 minutes. That's all. I'll meet you halfway. I'll go anywhere and meet you. Look in my face when I'm talking to you and tell me I'm lying. But I know you're lying. What you said about me. But forgiveness is a part of God. Joe's got something against me. That's on him. One day.
Weird how he says, you never heard my side of the story, but then turns it around and says, but I know you're lying. It can't be both ways. You either think he's ignorant or you think he's lying. That's strange. See, that's a difference. Yeah, you can't have it both ways there. Now, I get it, this guy's senile, but it's the strangest thing in the world to me to see this. And obviously, you can see, you can absolutely see the comments here. Imagine your deadbeat dad making a video using your name for clout after not being in your life for 25 years. That's tough. Joe Rogan's dad, after Googling Joe Rogan, 25? I thought he left whenever Joe was 5, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm going to take Joe Rogan's word for it. That's actually funny. I'm going to take Joe Rogan's word for it. Get it? I think that's a joke because they're both Joe Rogan. This guy says, wait, which one? Yeah, it's right here. Finally, someone caught on. Which one? Senior or junior? You know? So, oh, okay. Then the guy actually does answer junior. So, never mind. It wasn't a joke. Dang. Way to ruin the punchline on that. But anyway, another video here.
When I lost you, I couldn't find my heart in my body. It jumped right out.
I hate that. Let me explain. I have a biological grandfather. And he blames us for not reaching out to him. It's not my job. It's his job. He never tried. I'm 30 years old now. Okay? He's never once reached out to me, ever. And I don't care if he does now. I will ignore him at this point because he had multiple years to do so. I am a father now of 2 amazing children. And if I ever had an incident where I got separated from them, I would do everything in my power to find them, to try and get to them. If you're not willing to do that as a dad or as a grandfather, for me, why the hell should I give you the time of the day? I understand what Joe Rogan's going through when it comes to this. Not as direct, because this is his actual father. Mine's a grandfather. There's a separation there that's not as necessary as a father and son, but between a grandfather and son, it's not as close. So I couldn't imagine it being your actual father. But I get it to a degree. You know what I mean? I do get it to a degree. Because there is a lack of family that's broken that I actually kind of want, you know what I mean? I do want to get to know my grandfather and that side of the family to a degree, you know what I mean? But he never gave me the time of day. This guy, I don't know if it is true to what Joe Rogan Jr. is saying. Why should he get the time of day now? He clearly hasn't gone far enough. He hasn't gone far enough to try. He has the ability, and he knows where Joe Rogan's at. Joe Rogan's pretty easy to find. Getting to Joe Rogan's studio, pretty easy. He could have shown up there and been like, listen, I don't know if you want to see me or not, but I'm taking a chance. You know what I mean? He hasn't done that. I guarantee you, I could easily show up at Joe Rogan's place right now. Not that I would ever do that, okay? And I would never encourage anybody to do that, ever. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's that easy to find. He's a super celebrity. Like, it can't be that hard to track him down. Being Joe Rogan's father shouldn't be that difficult. I don't see any evidence that he's went out of his way to try and visit his own son. And like I said, that is the dad's job. It's not his son's job to seek out his father. It's the father's job to seek out the son. 100%.
You told him on a Howard Stern show that I left you and I abandoned you. I was still a cop 21 years later, retired lieutenant. You know where I was. I didn't leave. That's
such a piss poor excuse. You never searched for your son. You knew where I was. I didn't leave. You could have come to me. That's how I know this guy is lying. Right there. That makes me absolutely angry. That makes me so angry to hear something like that. You knew where I was. Come on. If Joe Rogan Jr. has a terrible mother that fed him all these lies, how is he supposed to have a chance? Huh? What else is he supposed to believe? Because guess what? Dad never came. So you're going to blame your own son for that. Unbelievable. What a disgrace. What an absolute disgrace. Who else is he supposed to listen to when he's a child? His mother. And he's going to grow up listening to his mother. Let's say his mother's a vile, evil person. He's going to grow up listening to her. Okay? And he's going to think you're a monster. Therefore, it's up to you to try and set the record straight, to go and fight for your son and try to get him back and do everything in your power. But no, you're leaving it in the hands of a child to make that decision. Now, I have no reason to believe that Joe Rogan's mother is that kind of person at all. Okay? I'm just saying, if that was the worst case scenario, awful mother that just, stole your son from you and went across the states. You didn't make any attempt to go find him? You just carried on with life. You stayed there as a cop. I would have quit my damn job and I would have scrounged up every ounce of money I had and I would have went all over all 50 states to find my children. Pathetic.
I abandoned you. You wound up in California. Then you went all these other places I never knew. So, Joe, get out of that round room, because you're never going to find that corner. Get out to reality, get to life, and come and see. I'll meet you halfway. I gave you.
No, that's not good enough. I'll meet you halfway. That is not good enough, dude. You're the father. You either go all the way for your kid or you don't budge. That's the way it is. If you're not willing to go all the way, you don't deserve your child. That is so insane. That is such a disrespectful thing. I just can't believe it. Honestly, I cannot believe it. You brought your kid into this world and you're not willing to do the bare minimum of going to get your kid? Are you serious? How do you do something like that? Again, when Joe Rogan went across the states, he was a minor. He was a child. Unbelievable.
25 plus years. Give me 25 minutes. That's all.
Okay, this must be like the fuller version, I guess. So we're going to go up to here. There's quite a few different videos here that I want to get into.
Joe, even though your mother was in her 20s, you were 7 years old. She didn't have the right to do this. I did not abandon anyone. Your mom.
So, okay, Joe was 7, okay? Joe was 7 whenever not 5, apparently. Why didn't you go after your kid? Why didn't you go after her and try to get your kid back? I don't understand that.
Your mother abandoned me. She never told me anything. I had to bear the pain of letting you go, but it was the only way of having you, God forbid, in a foster home, because if you went into a foster home, who knows what would have happened to you.
Why would he go into a foster home? I don't understand. If you would have went after her, why would he ended up in a foster home? You just had to let him go? That doesn't make any sense. What the heck are you leaving out, dude? No, Joe would have either you would have gotten custody over him, or the mom would have. And the courts may have been like, you can't leave the state, without having to be able to prepare to send him back at your expense for visitation rights. You know what I mean? Something could have been done. You could have taken her to court. You could have done something. What in the world made you think, if I try to fight this, he'll end up in a foster home? What is this guy? What kind of drugs is this dude on?
I'm sure every other father would have done the same thing. You're
Absolutely not. You are senile. No father would have let his kid just go. Nope. Not a chance in hell. I would have fought every tooth and nail to get my kids back.
in a situation like that, you can't flip off on what you didn't want to happen. You got to flip off on what did happen and what circumstances could be. And it started that I beat his mother up. Well, let me explain something. He was told this when he was young because you got to have some kind of reason why you're...
Okay, so here's a problem, though. Joe says he saw it. Why aren't you going to dispute that?
In California, my father's in New Jersey. What am I doing out here and I'm not with my father? Because I was with him every weekend. And what happened, Joe, I think, was misled by the mother. But what he did was carry it on later in life. We didn't have Google then. We didn't have caller ID. I couldn't have looked for you no more than I can.
But you could in the 90s. And you could in the 2000s. And you could in the 2010s. And you still could have 3 years into the 2020s. And you didn't. You've had 30 years. 30 years to be able to track him down. And guess what, man? As a police officer, I think you might have had the capabilities. As a police officer, they still managed to track people down in the 70s. They still did it in the 80s. And they did it in the 90s before the internet came into full fruition. Okay? So don't BS anybody. Dude, that is such trash. That is such trash. You didn't have the ability. You still got the ability right now to find out where he is and go visit him. You're not willing to do that. I'm willing to meet you halfway. Such utter garbage. So let's listen to the threats, okay?
You lied about me. Your father. If you lied about your father, what will you give? You give up the world. I'm tired of it, Joe. I just had enough. If you can't talk to me face to face, you're a punk ass. That's all you are. You got all.
I don't think Joe has said anything about his father in years. So I think they're starting to get mad. I mean, think about it. This is now just January 30th. A month has passed. Joe Rogan hasn't responded to them immediately. Joe hasn't talked about his father in, I think, the past couple years. So they're getting angrier and angrier now. This is really crazy.
Got all the money, everything, but you know what you don't have? You don't have no heart, and I'm going to tell you something else you don't have. You ain't got two balls. You don't want to talk to your father because you couldn't handle me. 81 years old. You couldn't handle this guy right here. And when you said I beat up kids, I beat up other women, Joe Harrison was, when you farted in your house, they knew next door. How could I get away with that?
My real father was crazy. He was like a psychotic person. He beat the fuck out of my mother.
Like he would be the type of...
You owe me a big...
That's such an old video and they're still going on it. Look at how his demeanor's changed completely. Joe hasn't said anything new about this at all. About a month, almost two... No, it was like December 20th or something like that. It's been a month, maybe 2 months since they made their first TikTok videos. Okay? These videos have... How many views has this video alone gotten? I'm not able to really tell right this second.
Big apology.
Joe, you were taken away at a very young age, okay? Unfortunately, you did not get to grow up with the man that we were fortunate enough.
Who the hell is this lady, and how the hell would she even know any of this at all? She wasn't in the picture. Isn't it weird? Like, I don't think she knows a thing about Joe. I doubt she's even met him. I don't know who this person is at all, but it's kind of weird that she's sitting there trying to go, Joe, this is what really happened, when she probably was never there.
Enough to grow up with, that my kids are fortunate enough to grow up with.
Smacks women, beats the shit out of kids.
When he went to college for acting, he had to take up drama.
Beats the shit out of them. So I went from living around these Italian, New Jersey psychopaths.
Yeah. You said the Italians in North Jersey were psychotic? A lot of the Italians. Joe, I'm 81 years old. I never met a psychotic Italian.
What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Crazy ass Italian psychopath Italians over here. You know what? We know one thing for sure. We know family. We not caught up in the bullshit over there in Hollywood and all that, bro. We down to real roots.
He hasn't been in Hollywood for a couple years now, man.
Okay? And this man is the real root, brother. You always revert back to your roots, Joe. What you doing, man? Sit on the other side of the table, my man. No cameras, no nothing, bro. And not me. Don't worry, I won't be here.
I'm sorry that all this happened to you. From the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. Because you will never know what you have missed out on in life. Look
at how it is with them. You're never going to know what you missed out on. They're blaming him. If this narrative is so true that the mother took him away and fed him all these lies, why are you blaming him for it? Why are you turning this around on him and pretty much treating it like it's his fault? That's what's so suspicious about this whole thing. It doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true.
I love when I see the comments. They just want the money. They want the money back. I have a box, Pandora's box. And if I open it, Joe, things would get really ugly. But see, we don't roll that.
That's so weird. Pandora's box if you open it. See, this lady's clearly full of crap. She doesn't have anything. It's all threats, but you're threatening Joe Rogan. He's just never responded. He may never have seen these videos ever. We don't know. And I don't think these people know if Joe's seen it or not. That's what's so confusing about this whole thing. They've given it a month. They've literally given it a month. Look at the date up here. First video ever was in December. Now we're in the very tail end of January. What makes you think that Joe knows? I'm genuinely curious. Can you prove that Joe Rogan knows you all made these videos and are trying to reach out to him? At least show us something that there's proof.
Way. Us psychopaths from New Jersey, we don't roll that way.
Italian psychopath.
Italian psychopaths. Whether or not you like it or not.
You're Italian.
He's
Joe.
3/4 Italian, whether or not he likes it or not.
I don't know, but you better look in the mirror real
Yeah.
quick. It's about time you become a man, Joe, and get to reality. You were wrong. You lied. We all know you lied.
So everybody's mindful on something, okay? You're looking at a real cop, real detective, okay? His record is squeaky.
He's such a real cop and real detective, he couldn't even figure out where Joe Rogan was. That's how good of a cop he is. Crazy, isn't it? It's kind of weird. I fall into this. I understand how this is, too, with my dad being a police officer and my great-grandfather I guess it was my great-grandfather. Yeah, duh. My great-grandfather on his mom's side was also a cop. Not the guy that, obviously we have nothing to do with. But yeah, was a cop. He would have been my dad's grandfather. Just kind of wild, weird similarities that I can just relate to. You know what I mean? This guy, though, was such an excellent police officer that he just couldn't find his son. Anyway, guys, that's what I'm going to leave it at. There are a couple articles over this. People covered it. I didn't know anything about this. This was written on February 2nd, 2023. I guess it didn't get a whole lot of traction. I'm hoping that this does get some traction out there, because as much I would like to see what happens with this for the most part. And if these people are lying about their son, if Joe Rogan Sr. is lying about his son, they need to be taken down a peg completely, because this is disgusting. I'm very quick to jump to conclusions, and maybe I shouldn't be. But it feels to me like this is a family that's like, hey, we're related to this guy, and we would like some of that money. That's all this feels like to me, honestly. It doesn't make sense with how aggressive they're being. This is how you want to get your son back? By not trying to get to him and be like, I am sorry that I was missed out on your life. Instead, they resort to just making videos that kind of start off, and then a month later, they get super hyper aggressive. Like, we're going to blackmail you, Joe, and we're going to teach you a lesson, and da-da-da. Look at these comments. So sad for Joe Rogan. He's getting publicly blackmailed by his own family. Joe, my family is crazy. Joe's family. We're not crazy. Let us prove it by insulting and threatening you for 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I'm with Joe Rogan. This video is literally proof of what Joe Rogan was talking about. Toxic family members love to stress. They are so highly ratioed. It's embarrassing. I don't think there's anybody, Let's see, hold on. Quote unquote, we're not psychopaths. While pulling a trigger finger, blackmailing, and outright screaming, that really convinced me. And then someone says, thank God someone. What is this? What? Thank God someone? Because I got a box, and if I open this box, there's going to be trouble. Oh. Marone? Okay. 81, this dude spending his last days trying to tear down his son. Father of the year. Know what I mean? Too dumb to see the sarcasm. I see Fight Live. This whole video screams insecure over a clip no one even remembered. Get over yourselves. They're responding to Fight Live, but It's oh, they're responding to him right here. Gotcha. I thought this was a further comment down, but this is the same thread. This comment was too funny. Why these people angry for abandoning him and now they're mad he doesn't want anything to do with them? I mean, yeah. Other comments saying his mom was the one that took him away from that life, but I hear you. That's the thing. If it's the mom's fault, this is what this person says. If it's the mom's fault, then it's on her. But look at how angry and aggressive they're talking. I wouldn't want to converse with them either. And he says, I hear you. I know it's complicated without any context. It seems shady. It seems very shady. To come out onto the internet and be incredibly aggressive with your son that apparently the mother took away. Joe Rogan didn't run away from you. The mother took him away. That's your narrative. And you're mad at Joe for that. Yeah, I don't buy it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please check out the music channel. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Let me know in the comment section, too. I need to say that. Let me know in the comment section, too, what you guys think about this. Seriously. It not only does it help the algorithm, because YouTube algorithm sucks, but I am genuinely wanting to have a conversation over this. So I'll be on my phone all night talking with you guys. So thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.